I am the punishment of God, a chilling declaration, a statement of brutal intent. If you had not committed great sins, if your transgressions hadn't reached the heavens, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. A force of reckoning, an unavoidable storm. Imagine hearing those words from Genghis Khan. Imagine the fear they instilled, the dread they inspired. A man whose name still thunders through history, echoing through the ages with tales of conquest and destruction. Born Temujin on the harsh Mongolian steppe, a land of unforgiving landscapes and nomadic tribes, he rose from nothing, from humble beginnings to unimaginable power. He would come to command armies that stretched from the Pacific to Europe, a feat unparalleled in history, connecting East and West, forging pathways of trade and cultural exchange, but at a staggering cost, a price paid in blood and tears, in the destruction of cities and the loss of countless lives. Today we explore the unthinkable acts of Genghis Khan, the brutality and the brilliance, and try to understand the man behind the legend, the forces that shaped him, and the legacy he left behind. Genghis Khan, with his relentless ambition, envisioned his burgeoning empire not just as a territory to be ruled, but as his personal house, a domain under his absolute authority. And within the walls of this vast, ever-expanding house, everyone, regardless of their origin or former status, had to abide by his rules, his laws, his vision. He was surprisingly tolerant, allowing religious freedom, understanding that faith was a personal matter. But he also drew hard lines, unyielding boundaries that defined what was acceptable within his domain. He was quick to ban practices he saw as disrespectful to Mongol values, traditions, or the natural order, things like ritual animal slaughter, which he considered a wasteful and barbaric act, or even something as seemingly innocuous as washing in running water. For the Mongols, water and earth were not just resources, but sacred elements imbued with spiritual significance. And these acts, in their eyes, fundamentally polluted them, defiling the very essence of the land. By forcing conquered people to abandon their old customs and traditions, he systematically broke down their existing identities and forged a new, unified Mongol order, bound by shared rules and a common allegiance. It was a form of psychological conquest, a subtle but powerful way to reshape the minds of his subjects. Control that went far deeper than the reach of swords or the imposition of brute force. The message was clear and unambiguous. Your old world, with all its familiar customs and beliefs, is now gone, relegated to the past. You now live, breathe, and exist in the world of the Khan, and his will is now your reality. When Genghis Khan's son-in-law was killed in Nishapur, his grief turned to vengeance. He ordered the city not just conquered, but annihilated. No living thing spared. Even his grieving daughter reportedly demanded this revenge. For days, Mongol soldiers slaughtered men, women, children, and animals. Historians estimate over 1 million perished, all to avenge one man. It was a chilling warning: harm the Khan's family and face utter destruction. After defeating the Tatars, Genghis Khan lined up every male next to a cartwheel, about 90 centimeters high. Any boy taller than the wheel was executed on the spot. No trial, just a brutal measurement. Boys shorter than the wheel could be assimilated. Anyone taller was a threat. This was more than victory. It was the erasure of a generation. The Tatars would never rise again. After a Mongol conquest, survivors were forced to build pyramids of skulls from the slain. These bone monuments stood for years, visible for miles, a warning to all. The message was simple: defy the Khan and your city becomes a mountain of the dead. It was psychological warfare at its most visceral. As a boy, Temujin's family was abandoned and starving. When his half-brother Bekta withheld food, Temujin and his brother killed him. It was a brutal act, but for Temujin, survival meant eliminating threats, even family. This was the first glimpse of the ruthless leader he would become. Power for him always came before kinship. In siege warfare, Genghis Khan forced captured townsmen to march ahead of his army as human shields. Defenders faced a terrible choice: kill their own people or let the Mongols in. This tactic saved Mongol lives and shattered enemy morale. It turned neighbors against each other. For the Khan, it was a cruel but effective strategy. Mongol tradition forbade spilling noble blood, so Genghis Khan found creative ways to kill rivals. Nobles were rolled in carpets and trampled by horses or executed by other bloodless means. Some met even more gruesome fates, like molten silver poured into their eyes and ears. These executions were ritualistic displays of power. The message: the Khan could kill you and still honor the spirits. Genghis Khan used his daughters as political weapons. Conquered kings married them, then were sent to die on distant front lines. When the king died, the daughter inherited the kingdom, ruling for the Khan. This strategy kept new territories loyal and under Mongol control. Family ties became tools of conquest. After the Khwarezmian Shah killed Mongol envoys, Genghis Khan's revenge was total. He ordered a river diverted to flood the Shah's home city, turning it into a swamp. The city was erased from the map. Nothing could be rebuilt. His fury could reshape the land itself. To cross the Khan was to risk obliteration. Some Mongol conquests erased entire cultures. The Tangut kingdom, with its unique language and script, vanished after betraying Genghis Khan. Libraries burned, cities disappeared, and histories were lost. The Mongols left a void where civilizations once stood. Only the story of the conqueror remained. In battle, an enemy archer named Zurgadai shot Temujin's horse. Captured, he boldly confessed, offering to serve the Khan. Impressed by his courage, Temujin spared him, renaming him Jebe, the Arrow. Jebe became one of the Khan's greatest generals. Even in cruelty, Genghis Khan respected strength and loyalty. Sometimes enemies became his most trusted allies. Genghis Khan's punishments were legendary for their cruelty and symbolism. Enemy leaders were sometimes boiled alive or had molten silver poured into their eyes and ears. These acts were designed to terrify, ensuring his reputation spread faster than his armies. Surrender was often the only sane choice. The myth of the Khan's wrath was as powerful as his armies. Genghis Khan, a name that echoes through the ages, a figure of immense power and complex contradictions. He unified warring tribes under a single banner, created a legal system that brought order to chaos, and opened trade routes that connected East and West, fostering an unprecedented exchange of goods and ideas. His empire reshaped the geopolitical landscape, leaving an indelible mark on the world. But his legacy is also stained with the blood of countless victims, mountains of bones that stand as silent testaments to his ruthlessness. His armies erased entire cities from the map, leaving behind desolate ruins and the ghosts of millions dead. He was both a creator, building an empire of unprecedented scale, and a destroyer, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. His actions, though perhaps not entirely uncommon for his time, exceeded even the accepted brutality of his era. His story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths and question the price of power, the cost of progress, and the nature of ambition. Can the achievements of a leader, however significant, ever truly excuse such widespread cruelty and destruction? Let us know your thoughts below. History's shadows, both light and dark, still linger today, shaping our world and influencing our future.